the story of Jacob and Esau where being privileged doesn't guarantee being success. It began with a prayer and a prophecy, with two brothers locked in struggle even before they drew their first breath. This is the tale of Jacob and Esau, twins divided by nature, nurture, and divine purpose. The desert winds swept across the land of Canaan as Isaac, son of Abraham, faced a painful reality. His wife Rebekah remained childless after 20 years of marriage. The promise God had made to Abraham, that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars, seemed distant and uncertain. In desperation, Isaac turned to prayer, pleading with the Lord on behalf of his wife. God heard his cry. Rebekah conceived, but her pregnancy proved unusually difficult. Within her womb, she felt a fierce struggle, as if two nations were already at war. Troubled and confused, she sought divine guidance. If it is to be this way, why do I live? The Lord answered her with words that would echo through history. Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples shall be separated from your body. One people shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. When the time came for Rebekah to deliver, the prophecy took physical form. The first child emerged red and hairy, wrapped in a mantle of ruddy hair like a garment. They named him Esau, meaning hairy. His brother followed immediately, his small hand grasping Esau's heel as if trying to pull him back to take his place. This second son they called Jacob, heel grabber or supplanter, a name that foretold his future. As the boys grew, their differences became more pronounced. Esau developed into a skilled hunter, a man of the open country who lived by instinct and impulse. His muscular frame and outdoor skills made him the ideal son in his father's eyes. Isaac loved the taste of wild game and admired his firstborn's prowess in bringing it to his table. Jacob was his mother's son, quiet, thoughtful, preferring the safety of the tents. Where Esau rushed headlong into adventure, Jacob calculated and planned. Where Esau lived for the moment, Jacob schemed for the future. And Rebekah, remembering the prophecy, watched and waited. One afternoon, as the sun beat down upon the land, Esau returned from hunting. Days in the wilderness had left him famished, his strength depleted. The rich aroma of red lentil stew filled his nostrils as he approached the camp. Jacob was stirring the pot, the steam rising into the air. "Quick, let me have some of that red stew," Esau demanded, his voice hoarse with exhaustion. "I am famished." Jacob looked up slowly, his mind quickly assessing the situation. Here was opportunity dressed as coincidence. "First sell me your birthright," he replied. The birthright was no small matter. It entitled the firstborn to a double portion of the family inheritance and, more importantly, to the position as head of the family after the father's death. For the sons of Isaac, it carried even greater significance. The covenant promises God had made to Abraham would pass through the holder of the birthright. Yet Esau, driven by the hunger of the moment, could not see beyond his immediate need. "Look, I am about to die," he exaggerated. "What good is the birthright to me? Swear to me first." Jacob insisted, his voice steady. So Esau swore an oath, selling his birthright for a bowl of stew. Jacob handed him bread and lentil stew, and Esau ate and drank, then got up and left. The transaction took mere minutes, but its consequences would reverberate through centuries. The Bible concludes this incident with the damning observation: "So Esau despised his birthright." Years passed. Isaac grew old, his eyes dimming until the world became a blur of shadows. Feeling death approaching, he called for Esau, his beloved firstborn. "I am now an old man and don't know the day of my death," he said. "Go out to the open country and hunt some wild game for me. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die." Rebekah overheard these words, and the prophecy stirred in her memory. The older shall serve the younger. While Esau went hunting, she quickly called Jacob and shared a plan. "Go out to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats," she instructed, "so I can prepare tasty food for your father, just the way he likes it. Then you will take it to your father to eat, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies." Jacob hesitated. "But my brother Esau is a hairy man while I have smooth skin. What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him and would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing." "Let the curse fall on me, my son," Rebekah replied. "Just do what I say." So Jacob obeyed his mother. She prepared the food Isaac loved and dressed Jacob in Esau's clothes. She covered his hands and neck with goatskin to simulate Esau's hairy skin. Then she sent him to his father with the meal. "My father," Jacob said as he entered Isaac's tent. "Yes, my son," the old man replied. "Who is it?" "I am Esau, your firstborn," Jacob lied. "I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game so that you may give me your blessing." Isaac was puzzled by how quickly the hunt had succeeded. "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord your God gave me success," Jacob answered, invoking God's name to support his deception. Still suspicious, Isaac asked Jacob to come closer so he could touch him. His aged fingers felt the goatskin on Jacob's hands. "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau," he mused. Nevertheless, after further questioning, Isaac ate the food Jacob brought and prepared to give the blessing. Drawing his son close, he smelled the countryside fragrance of Esau's garments. Then, believing he was speaking to his firstborn, Isaac pronounced the blessing meant for Esau. "May God give you heaven's dew, and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you, and peoples bow down to you. Be lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." The words hung in the air, irrevocable. Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence when Esau returned from his hunt. Preparing the game as his father requested, he entered Isaac's tent. "My father, sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." Isaac trembled violently. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am your son," Esau replied. "Your firstborn, Esau." Realization crashed upon Isaac like thunder. "Who was it, then, that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came, and I blessed him. And indeed he will be blessed." When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry. "Bless me, me too, my father." But the blessing had been given, and Isaac could not recall it. With a breaking heart, he told Esau, "Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing." Esau's anger blazed. "Isn't he rightly named Jacob? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. He took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing." Then, with tears in his eyes, he begged, "Haven't you reserved any blessing for me?" Isaac could only offer a lesser blessing, one that foretold struggle and eventual liberation, but still placed Esau under Jacob's authority. From that moment, hatred took root in Esau's heart. "The days of mourning for my father are near," he thought. "Then I will kill my brother Jacob." When Rebekah learned of Esau's intentions, she urged Jacob to flee to her brother Laban in Haran. "Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides," she advised. "When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word for you to come back." So Jacob left his home, carrying nothing but a staff and the weight of his deception. That night, sleeping under the stars with a stone for his pillow, he dreamed of a stairway reaching to heaven, with angels ascending and descending on it. Above it stood the Lord, who renewed the covenant promise. "I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. All peoples on earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." This divine encounter transformed Jacob's flight into a pilgrimage. He named the place Bethel, House of God, and made a vow. "If God will be with me and will watch over me on this journey I am taking, and will give me food to eat and clothes to wear so that I return safely to my father's household, then the Lord will be my God." For 20 years, Jacob lived with his uncle Laban, experiencing both prosperity and hardship. He married Laban's daughters Leah and Rachel, fathered 11 sons and a daughter, and accumulated large flocks. But he also tasted the bitter fruit of deception when Laban tricked him into marrying Leah before Rachel, and repeatedly changed his wages. The supplanter was supplanted, a harsh lesson in reaping what one sows. Finally, God directed Jacob to return to Canaan. With his wives, children, and possessions, he set out for home, uncertain of the reception that awaited him. As they approached Edomite territory, Jacob sent messengers ahead to Esau with gifts and humble greetings. The messengers returned with alarming news. "Your brother Esau is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him." Fear gripped Jacob's heart. That night, after sending his family across the Jabbok River, he remained alone on the other side. In the darkness, a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the stranger saw that he could not overpower Jacob, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, wrenching it. Still, Jacob would not let go. "I will not let you go unless you bless me," he insisted. "What is your name?" the man asked. "Jacob," he answered. "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." At that moment, Jacob realized he had wrestled with God and lived. He named the place Peniel, saying, "I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." As dawn broke, he limped away, transformed by the encounter. The deceiver had become Israel. He struggles with God, the father of a nation. The next day, Jacob saw Esau approaching with his 400 men. He arranged his family behind him and went ahead, bowing to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him, threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. "What is the meaning of all these flocks and herds I met?" Esau asked. "To find favor in your eyes, my lord," Jacob replied. But Esau said, "I already have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." After much persuasion, Esau accepted Jacob's gifts as a sign of reconciliation. The brothers who had been divided since the womb found peace, if not unity. Their paths would remain separate, Esau returning to Seir, Jacob continuing to Canaan, but the threat of bloodshed had passed. Years later, the brothers would meet once more to bury their father Isaac. By then, both had become patriarchs of great households. Esau's descendants, the Edomites, would establish a kingdom south of the Dead Sea. Jacob's 12 sons would become the 12 tribes of Israel, fulfilling God's promise that through his offspring all nations of the earth would be blessed. The story of Jacob and Esau reveals profound truths about human nature, divine sovereignty, and the complex interplay between the two. It shows how God works through flawed individuals to accomplish his purposes. Jacob, despite his deceit, became a patriarch of faith. Esau, despite selling his birthright, received God's provision and fathered a nation. Their tale is one of choices and consequences, of divine election and human responsibility. It reminds us that God's plans prevail even through our failures, and that reconciliation is possible even after the deepest betrayals. The brothers who struggled in the womb and wrestled for blessing ultimately found a way to peace, not through human scheming, but through divine intervention and the healing power of forgiveness. In this ancient story, we find a mirror for our own divided hearts and a hope for our fractured relationships. Like Jacob, we all limp away from our encounters with the divine, forever marked but ultimately blessed. And like Esau, we learn that letting go of bitterness opens the door to unexpected grace. The path of Jacob and Esau teaches us that the journey matters as much as the destination, that character is formed through conflict, and that even those chosen by God must wrestle with him to claim their blessing. It is a story not just of 2 brothers, but of the human family, divided by sin, united by blood, and ultimately redeemed by divine love.